Hello folks, welcome back to the Urban Rider Studio. Today I have a helmet from the Italian brand NOLAN. This is the NOLAN N120-1. It is one of quite a few new helmets that we've got from NOLAN. Quite a few different designs, but a lot of them actually being modular or flip-up helmets that you can wear in both the open or the closed position. And of those style of helmets, this is probably one of my favorites of theirs, and I'll explain as we go through. If you're wondering, they start at about £300, which I think is really good value for money. That's something that NOLAN do have across all of the helmets I've seen thus far. They meet a very fine line between the quality being good enough and the price being affordable enough against a lot of their competition from the likes of Shoei or Schubert or anyone else doing modular helmets. And I think actually they've hit a kind of sweet spot for their helmets. One of the biggest differences and cost-saving exercises, if you like, will be the materials that they've used, which to you won't really notice on a day-to-day basis. They use polycarbonate basically, where those other helmet manufacturers will use things like fiberglass or carbon or a mix, some kind of composite instead. Now with polycarbonate, it isn't described as being quite as durable, and I said recently actually, I think it's between 3 years you're supposed to change them, or that's the recommendation. It's actually, I think, 5 years, but either way, when you look at fiberglass or carbon, the recommendation is more. I think last time I saw at least it was about 7 years, but regardless, however you consider it, carbon and fiberglass options are seen to be a little bit more durable or long-lasting as material. They can also sometimes be lighter, although this isn't a heavy helmet. I wouldn't describe this as being a heavy helmet, especially in its bracket. When you think of modular helmets with the extra mechanism that goes on, that adds a bit of bulk to helmets generally, so they tend to come in a bit heavier than a standard full face helmet, but still relatively lightweight. In case you're wondering, this one on the table is around 1,720 grams, there or thereabouts. So still relatively, I guess, heavy in comparison to some full faces, but for modular helmets, not too bad. In case you're wondering, they also make this in 2 different shell sizes, and that changes after medium. So it goes all the way up to medium, and then from large onwards, they use the larger shell size. So this is a medium. It will look a little slimmer because of that. And that is another thing when it comes to more expensive helmets. Generally speaking, the more expensive a helmet, the more different shell sizes or outer shell sizes they will offer. When it comes to sizing though, I would describe this as a very comfortable fit. In comparison to some of their other helmets, I think this is one of the most comfortable from them that I tried on. There are a few that sort of stand out to me. The N100, N90, they were quite good. The X1005, that one was slightly less comfortable than this one for me, but they all have the same sort of shape and they're all an accurate size. It's just that for whatever reason, I found the liner on this one more comfortable from the start at least. They've got 3D shaped cheek pads. Shaped cheek pads are always something you should look for with your helmets. It will make it more comfortable than just a flat sort of standard cheek pad. And again, lower priced helmets will come in with just generic square almost cheek pads that you have to break in over time. If they're already pre-molded, it will be more comfortable. And the liner is actually adjustable, so you can see little sections in there that you can tweak a little bit to make it more comfortable. But like I've said, out of the box, straight away, this was comfortable on my head. Looking around the helmet, we have various different features, including some vents. It's quite simple though, actually, and I like that. I don't want my helmets to be too complicated. So you've got a vent on the top there, very easy to operate. You have one on the chin, again, very easy to operate. And then of course, like we've described, it is modular, so you can flip it up. So you pull out this at the bottom, pinch it between your fingers, and then slide that over. Unlike some of their other modular helmets, it slides all the way to the back, which makes it more aerodynamic. And like I've said, it is quite practical, and I do actually like, having used it now, this style of chin bar that goes all the way to the back. And you can lock it, so it is safety approved in both the open or closed position, however you'd like to ride. And there is no getting around it. This is quite a useful thing, and it is favored by the more practical motorcycle rider who sees the benefits in maybe being able to put your glasses on a lot easier, in getting a tighter threshold around your neck because you've got this chin curtain there, meaning that you couldn't really pull it over your head. You have to put it on in this open position, and it can be a little bit snugger as a result. There are certain things that this somewhat limits though. So you'll find with this type of modular helmet that they often offer their own specific type of comms unit. And of course this is or can be paired with a comms unit. It's their own. It's their NCOM unit, which is provided by Sena, so it will pair with other Senas. And it fits specifically to this. You can fit other third-party intercom systems if you want to. It is possible, it's just there's less real estate, less room on here if you were going to go that route. So often it is better and more convenient to go for their own version. And they offer the ESS, or the brake light, that you can attach to the back as well as part of that system. And that's quite a nifty little extra gadget that you can stick on your helmet to make you more visible if you want to go that route. And another limitation, although maybe not so much just for modular helmets, just new ECE 2206 helmets, is the chin strap, which I find to be placed a little bit further back, which means it presses against your neck. And I found this with all of their helmets, but not just them. Pretty much every helmet I've tried for these new safety standards, it's just quite far back for me personally. It's not uncomfortable if you're in a riding position, but when you're sort of standing, it can get in the way. It just depends how you go. And I shouldn't really dwell on that point too much because, like I say, if you're going to buy a new helmet, you're going to find that on any other helmet you would buy as well. The visor has a very wide field of view. I found it a little fiddly to change visors, I'm not going to lie. It is described as being quite simple, but actually getting the visor back on with some of theirs is a little bit fiddly, but they do offer some tints and they do look really good. If you don't want to go that route though, something that is more versatile is the internal drop-down visor, which is included, and you can use this to pull it down, sorry, other way. You can use that to pull it down, and this little tab over here, or button, will flip it back up, which is quite fun to play with, quite addicting to play with that. But either way, like I say, very, very practical to have an internal drop-down sun visor because it's more versatile whilst you're out as you're entering different light conditions. I personally found this to be one of their most comfortable modular helmets, and I found the extra function of putting that chin bar to the back to be useful in my case. But if you want a more traditional looking modular or flip-up helmet, they have lots of other styles as well. And I'll drop links to the rest of their range if you want to check them out, using the links in the description to go to our website, and leave any comments or questions you have down below, and I will see you soon. Bye.